out here in pretty low light testing out the iPhone 16 Pro, and I'm gonna do a bunch of tests just of like low light performance of the iPhone 16 Pro cameras. This is what the selfie camera looks like. If you upgraded to the 16 Pro, 16 Pro Max, etc., let me know down in the comments. And I just switched the camera over to cinematic mode, so we should be seeing some nice blurry backgrounds. What do y'all think of the camera quality? I'm pretty impressed so far, but honestly, this looks very similar to my 15 Pro Max that I upgraded from. But yeah, this looks pretty legit. I like seeing the little, software bokeh balls in the background here. Pretty nice. Looks pretty natural. So this is cinematic mode using the rear-facing camera. It should look a little bit better than the front-facing camera. And we're just at sunset right now, so it's starting to get pretty dark outside. We'll see how the audio sounds as well. All right, and now we're using the normal rear-facing camera, like the wide 1X camera. Let's see how stabilized this lens is. I'm sure this footage looks pretty similar to the 15 Pro Max, but got to do these tests, right? Now we're using the ultra-wide 0.5X lens, so you should be seeing a lot more field of view. So yeah, this should be pretty wide view here. This is like the camera, the phone is like arm's length away. So yeah, what do y'all think? Okay, now we're back to using the selfie camera, not cinematic mode, just like the normal mode, because this is probably normally how most people would vlog. Now we have cinematic mode going on. But yeah, this actually looks pretty fantastic. Again, looks pretty similar to the iPhone 15 Pro Max though. All right, just out here trying not to get run over. But yeah, it'll be pretty interesting to compare the audio from the iPhone 16 Pro, which has 4 new microphones, studio quality, as Apple says, to that of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So it's pretty freaking dark outside right now, honestly. And I'm pretty impressed how much detail and how bright this video looks, at least in the iPhone 16 Pro screen. Like maybe it looks trash on a big screen or something, but in the preview screen it actually looks pretty good. But yeah, it's pretty dark outside right now, and it's kind of incredible how much detail we're seeing in this video. All right, here's a walking test using the 1X rear-facing camera, the wide camera. Holding the camera relatively still, nothing too crazy. Trying to do a little bit of a gimbal action. All right, now we're using the ultra-wide lens, and here's a walking test. I'm actually walking towards the Apple store right now, so we can see there's probably a ton of people trying to get the new iPhone. We have made it to the Apple Kingdom, and it looks like there's definitely a lot of people in there. There was a line here yesterday here in Austin, Texas, people trying to get this new iPhone. So this whole thing with the 16 Pro getting shipped without Apple Intelligence, AI is coming to the iPhone but then not putting it on these iPhones when you first get them is kind of a flex, honestly. One of the big changes with the iPhone 16 Pro is, of course, the new camera button, which is definitely taking a little time to get used to. I feel like I'm accidentally triggering it a lot when I go to pick up my phone. I'll press the button, it'll trigger the camera. Not a huge deal, but there's probably a little bit of a learning curve with this phone, like where to place your hand so you don't trigger the camera the whole time. So I thought the camera button feature would be a little bit of a gimmick, but after using it a bunch, I actually really like it. One thing I would suggest for iPhone 17 new iterations of this phone is to have the camera button be a little more obvious, where it is, because I do feel like my hand is kind of hunting around on the side of the phone to figure out exactly where it is. But I use it a lot. I actually don't think it's a gimmick. I think it's actually a really cool feature. And it allows you to use the action button for something else besides just the camera, your flashlight, something like that. Right now we're using the ultra wide lens. This is a really dark area that's just being lit by this sign over here. And this is not pitch black, but it's pretty dark over here, and I'm seeing a lot of detail, a lot of color, so there's definitely a lot of processing going on inside this phone. Now let's switch over to the 1X camera. So this will actually give even more light onto the subject here. Again, this is a really dimly lit situation. Sign looks pretty good. There's still these light flaring. You're seeing this little extra light right here. So Apple still hasn't fixed that. Like anywhere where light is going right into the lens, we're gonna see a little bit of like this little flaring going on. Sometimes it looks cool, but sometimes it also looks like kind of trash, honestly. And I wish Apple would just fix it already. So now I'm standing in an area that's like pretty dim, and I'm trying to see just like what are the limits of this phone. iPhones are amazing in really good light, but in low light, they definitely seem to struggle. Like we'll definitely see a lot of noise going on, a lot of softness in, you know, shadows and details and stuff like that. But I'm in a pretty dark area right now, and it's kind of amazing that you can still see a lot of my face. All right, I switched over to the rear-facing camera, the 1X. So this is the best camera on the entire iPhone 16 Pro. I'm in pretty dim light right now. There's a lot of people talking around me, so I'm really curious how this will actually pick up my voice versus like everyone kind of talking, and there's like music and there's cars and stuff. There's a lot of activity. Pretty dimly lit situation, but how much detail are y'all able to see? We look good? So the new audio modes, the new microphones, I could see that being actually a huge game changer for a lot of vloggers and video makers or content creators. Because let's say you're standing in a place like where I'm at right now, and there are cars everywhere, there are people talking behind me, there's even like music in the background. Now you can actually adjust on your phone without having to go into Final Cut Pro or anything. You can adjust different audio modes, so you can zoom in on your voice, you can make it sound cinematic, and I think it actually works really well, especially for loud environments like this where there's all kinds of stuff happening around you. If you rely on just the internal mics on your iPhone, the microphones alone may be a reason to upgrade to the 16 Pro. Just saying.
I'm trying to see what's wrong. I ain't never see you in this house. There's something wrong.
So right now I'm in a pretty loud zone where there's music in the background, there's people talking around me, and it's pretty loud overall. So I'm gonna try out the different audio modes so y'all can see what it sounds like using all the different audio modes. I love that this is an option on the iPhone 16 Pro. But let's see if it actually really sounds and looks good, or if it just is total trash. All right, I'm in another loud area, another test of the different audio modes on the iPhone 16 Pro. There's people talking all around me, there's really loud music. It's really, really chaotic right here, right now. But yeah, how does this sound? How does this look? It's also really, really dark where I'm at. So again, kind of impressive how much detail I'm actually seeing in the preview screen. But it may just be a grainy mess later. I don't know. So we're back in heaven. And what do y'all think of this footage? Let me know down in the comments. Like, do you feel like the iPhone 16 Pro is worth the extra money? Are you upgrading from the iPhone 15 Pro or a much older phone? And how do you feel like iPhone 16 Pro handled all this footage using low light and sometimes almost no light? And if you watched all the way to the end of this video, leave a panda emoji in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.